We all love going out on a trip. However, some places are better not to visit. Find out which ones in this video. It could save your life. Opa-locka. This small city of almost 16,000 inhabitants will make you feel as if you were in ancient Arabia. But make no mistake, this is no place for vacation.
I'm hitting the road. I'm off to see the world.
With a total amount of 2,346 violent crimes committed per 100,000 people, Opa-locka is far from being an Arabian paradise.
To another Arabian night.
It's also considered crime-plagued by the Miami-Dade Police Department. The number of officers decreased from 50 to 16, and home burglary increased from 10 to 52 cases. Besides, there's one sex offender per 534 people. Such a bad combo.
Oh no. Oh no!
Crime here is much higher than in nearby cities. 1 in 42 residents is a victim of a violent crime. There have been 1,274 criminal offenses reported in only 2019. Can you imagine how many aren't reported? Camden County. Called the most dangerous city in New Jersey, Camden County stands out as an anomaly in its state where crime has been decreasing in recent years.
No, stay out of there! Stay out of there! Oh, good God, no!
There are 1,968 crimes per 100,000 people in total, above the New Jersey average of 229. It also isn't easy to find a job in Camden County. The annual unemployment rate is 8.9%, which is the highest of any city in New Jersey. In 2019, there were 4,009 crimes in total. 2,544 of them were property crimes, so your belongings aren't safe either. Things don't seem easy for this place of more than 500,000 inhabitants. Do you think the Sopranos would choose to live here?
Oh.
Memphis. If your city has its own Wikipedia page about its crime issues, you already know that you must have eyes in the back of your head.
Give me that!
No!
Let's go! Come on!
However, if you ever want to visit the beautiful American South, we advise you to avoid stopping in Memphis. It is known for being the place where Martin Luther King was killed, and its dark atmosphere hasn't vanished. It has 8,301 crimes per 100,000 inhabitants in total, above average for Tennessee and the United States. Memphis has been on the list of the most dangerous cities for more than a decade.
This is a bad neighborhood.
Out of the 407 murders committed in the state of Tennessee, 1 in 2 occurred in Memphis. Even though property crimes declined nationwide, Memphis was the exception as it had a small increase, especially vehicle theft, which increased by 11%.
I'm going to be the best car thief ever.
The solution for these issues could lie in the unemployment rate of 7% and the poverty rate of 28%, both higher than the national average. Baltimore. It is a historic city infamous for its crime. Baltimore has become immune to the crime decline nationwide as it increased by 7%. Perhaps this city of 619,493 inhabitants could be comparable to Gotham City. If you visit Baltimore for its historical roots, be aware since there is a 1 in 15 chance of becoming a victim of a crime. After all, there are 6,955 crimes reported per 100,000 people. That's too much. Based on these statistics, Baltimore is on its way to hold 358 murders by the end of 2019. It could even surpass New York City, which has 14 times more citizens.
Oh, this is horrible.
The riots in recent years haven't been beneficial for the businesses of the city, with an unemployment rate of 4.7%, and the situation doesn't seem to improve. Detroit. It was once a symbol of prosperity and the American dream. Today, Detroit is still an American symbol, but of economic crisis and disappearance of manufacturing jobs. The situation was so bad that the city filed for bankruptcy in 2013, the largest municipal bankruptcy in history.
We're broke.
Currently, the city has just over 700,000 people, far below the 1.85 million people in the 50s. Besides, each citizen has to cope with the idea that there is a 1 in 16 chance of becoming a victim of a crime. With those numbers, you'll need help from RoboCop.
Let the woman go, you are under arrest.
Car factories left many years ago. Only General Motors stayed behind, so its unemployment rate is 4.5%. Things get worse at night. There were 44,254 crimes reported in total. 30,458 of them were crimes against property, and 13,796 were violent crimes.
Give me your purse.
In a city of 6,597 crimes per 100,000 citizens, you can just hope to get help from a superhero.
I'm Batman.
St. Louis. While the crime rate in St. Louis had a small decline compared to the wild 90s, currently 8,124 per 100,000 people are victims of a crime.
All right, dorks. This is a holdup.
There were 25,206 crimes reported in total. 6,461 of them were violent, including 205 murders and 289 sexual assaults. These numbers would drive any tourist away, don't you think? It isn't easy to live here, since many crimes are committed by young people due to the unemployment rate of 7% and poverty, which affects almost 30% of the population.
Yeah, I used to be rich, and those Disney sleazeballs shut me down.
So if you can avoid going to St. Louis for vacation, do it. McKeesport. We arrived at the Rust Belt, where many factories closed production. Especially McKeesport, Pennsylvania, characterized by an unemployment rate of 9% that terribly affects its population.
They're gonna shut down the factory!
There are 4,891 crimes per 100,000 citizens in McKeesport, but violent crimes are the most common with 445 cases. If you ever go to Pittsburgh and want to see a colorful nearby town, you should avoid this one, as there is a 1 in 21 chance of becoming one of the 1,000 victims of any crime. And if you're a resident, let me tell you that the city reached up to 55,000 inhabitants in the 40s, but currently there are only 19,000. So maybe it's time to look for better opportunities elsewhere.
Bye now.
Florida City. If your neighbor has never threatened your life, chances are you don't live in Florida City.
Good morning, Lois.
Here, dangerous means ordinary. Moreover, it would be weird if you don't have a risky experience during the day.
It's okay, all part of the job.
Especially in a city of only 10,200 citizens, but 1,200 crimes a year, which is equal to more than 10% of the entire city. How terrible! There is a 1 in 14 chance of being robbed and 1 in 32 of being a victim of a violent crime. I'd tell you to get away from this place, but I think you got the point.
I'm out of here.
Bessemer. Things don't look great in the heart of the southern lands, as Bessemer has one of the highest violent crime rates not only in Alabama, but throughout the United States. In a city of only 27,456 people, more than 3,300 crimes were reported. Most of them are crimes against property with more than 2,500 cases. So you better buy a big lock if you want to live here.
I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting my authority as your father by coming in anyway!
There's a 1 in 8 chance of getting home and finding the place as if you had just moved in. Therefore, if you're looking for the classic Southern hospitality, you won't find it here. Anniston. Not only is it classified as the most dangerous city in Alabama, but nationwide as well. Anniston is a city of only 21,770 people, but it has a lot of issues. For a place as small as Anniston, the amount of 2,106 crimes is unusually high, even in Alabama. There were 754 violent crimes reported in total, including 47 sexual assaults.
Let's get her, boys!
The poverty is rampant and affects 30% of the population, and unemployment increased by 8% as well. The future looks dark for Anniston, but if it comes to tourism, then it's non-existent. I'm sure you've already crossed out these cities from your list of holiday destinations. Have you ever visited any of them? Until next time!